Hey guys, today we're gonna make red bean gumbo. Come on. Let's go ahead and get all of our mise en place in order. Mise en place is an old French culinary term to mean put all things in its place. So let's go ahead and dice all our vegetables, chop up our meats. So medium dice 5 onions, 3 green bell peppers, a half a bunch of celery. I'll leave those leaves on there, they ain't never hurt nobody. Mince up 6 cloves of garlic. Throw all your vegetables in a bowl. Now on to our meats. Let's go ahead and small dice that tasso. Now for our andouille, I like to go ahead and split it down the middle and remove that outer skin. I found it's kind of tough, doesn't really break down. And I like to slice it thin, making half moon pieces. Now for our smoked sausage, I go ahead and I cut this into quarters. I know this is a lot of cuttings. You don't have to do it like this, but I find it makes for a much better end result. Now that we have our mise en place in place, let's head on outside and make that roux. So before we begin, some of you might be wondering, what is red bean gumbo? Well, I'm gonna tell you, back in the late 1900s, by that I mean the late 90s, Blu Runner Red Bean Company posted an article in the Times-Picayune with a new recipe to try with their product, Blu Runner Red Beans, and it was red bean gumbo. Essentially, it's a base of velvety red bean mixture cooked down with smoked meats, and has a roux as the base. So it kind of took off in the local area where I'm from. I know a lot of Louisianians still hadn't heard or tried of this, but let's get into it. Add your oil, and you want to let this heat up before adding your flour. Into your hot oil, whisk in your flour. Now this is going to look thick to a lot of people, but trust me, as this cooks, this is going to break down, it's going to thin out. All you're going to end up doing with that extra grease is having to skim it off later. About 10 minutes in, and a quick audit from the board, you can see how it's starting to thin out, it's starting to get a little bit of color. So the thing is with a roux, you need to get comfortable here. You want to move that spatula, move that bottom, scrape down all the sides, keep it stirring. Now when you're getting close to the end, you want to crank up that heat. You want to get this roux really hot. You want to throw our trinity mixture in there and brown those onions, peppers right there in the roux. Now you can see that roux still darkened up. Onions are starting to get clear. We're going to transfer this into our big pot. Now add in your stock, stir it up. So now I've transferred that mixture over into my big gumbo pot. Now, when you get the liquid in there, it's important to start layering the seasonings now. You want to start building on that depth of flavor as you're going. So now into your pot, I'm adding Tony's, dried herbs, garlic powder, and black pepper. Early on, you want to go ahead and get in any bones that you're using for flavoring. I have a smoked ham bone here, and I also have some Cajun style turkey necks. Alright, we're going to stop cooking with the roux. That's going to cook down for a few hours. Take this pot, brown up all our meats to go in there. Working in small batches, you want to start to brown off all your meat. Careful not to overcrowd your pan. You want to get that nice beautiful golden color all over all the edges of each side. I also browned off some ham. We've been cooking this about an hour and a half. Time to add your red beans. Now go ahead and add in all of that meat that you got nice and brown. So now we're going to cook this down for a while. It's important I tell you, the seasoning amount used on the recipe is the base seasonings. You want to start tasting. You want to taste every so often, adding and adjusting as you like it. Also, any grease that you got that rises up to the top, you want to skim that off, get that out of there. Man, I wish you guys could smell this. Now fry up some bacon. You want to reserve that fat. We're going to save it for later. Now all that burnt stuff on the bottom of that pot, they call that gratin. You want to deglaze that with water. Scoop all of that up, and you want to put that in your gumbo. Okay, so we've been cooking this thing for about 3 hours now. I'm going to go ahead and cut the heat off. Add my green onions. And that bacon fat we preserved. Can also add in your parsley right here. I like to cut this off and let it sit for about 20 minutes to let those flavors marinate. If you're really feeling frisky, you could crack in a few raw eggs, cover it, and let those eggs poach in the gumbo. I served that over a nice scoop of rice. Let's check it out now, see what we got. Man, that is good. Y'all gotta try. Check it out. Let me know. Boudreaux's Backyard, y'all. Like, subscribe, follow, drop me a comment. Let me know what you think.